Hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder. Today, I want to have a look at the M901 ITV. Before that, I'm a bit sorry if my nose sounds a bit stuffed, but I was out there yesterday fishing, and while I appreciate the catching of a beautiful tench, not so much catching a cold. And if everything runs according to plan, I am, at this very moment when the video is released, on the German Autobahn, and I'm heading towards the northern part of the German Republic, and that is towards a very small little village, some 100 kilometers north of Hamburg, which will become the center of heavy metal festival enthusiasts for 1 week. And so I'm looking forward for the Wacken Open Air, where there will be excessive amounts of loud, good music, some good company, and excessive quality control of German beverages. So with that, what is it with the M901? Well, first of all, before I begin to talk about this, this is a little bit of a gap filler, because it would be criminal to leave a roughly 21,000 subscribers without a video for a week. That would be criminal, and so this is a little bit of a gap filler. I didn't have much time for the battles as usual, and I'm sorry about this, and this is primarily just first impressions. But I wanted to present you the M901 ITV because I think it's fun, it's cool, and it is absolutely outstanding in some of its abilities. While the rest might be average, I think the outstanding abilities are really worth talking about, and they make this thing probably worth the 380,000 clan RP, because this is one of 3 clan activity reward vehicles that you can unlock. I made already videos about the other 2, namely the British plane and the Soviet patrol boat, or the Soviet ship, and so you can then choose which one you want to spend your clan activity reward points on. So this one costs 380,000, or you can buy it with gold. The question is it worth it? I say, well, it always depends what you expect from this, because this is not a premium tank. This also comes stock, so you have to unlock all the modules. However, I think due to its abilities, the stock grind is one of the easiest in the game. And if you have a look at at all the stats, it's practically a non-existent stock grind when it comes to what makes the tank good, what makes the tank work. Because you don't really upgrade the armor, and I mean, you have cardboard as armor in the first place, so it doesn't really matter. That's not the strength of this tank. It's also not the mobility. While not being bad at any stretch of the imagination, it is not really the selling point of this tank either. And for this battle rating with a horsepower to ton ratio of just under 20 and a theoretical top speed forwards and backwards of 64 kilometers per hour, I'm not so quite sure about backwards, mostly on flat medium terrain you're reaching somewhere between 35 and 40 kilometers per hour. And the maneuverability is also not the greatest. The next thing is that this is fairly average for this battle rating, where a lot of the main battle tanks are equally fast or faster with stabilizer, APF SDS, autoloaders, and they can fire on the move. We'll come back to this in just a moment. So what about the weaponry? Well, this tank has no machine gun, it has no autocannon, it has no main caliber cannon, it has, with the exception of some smoke launchers, only 10 ITO missiles, and 2 of them are already in one, well, deployed turret, if you want to call it, and that is a very interesting design choice, because this is what makes the tank work. Now let's begin to talk about the ITO's capabilities in the first place, and there is already something odd about them. So first of all, they have a caliber of 5-inch, 127mm. The maximum speed on the trajectory is 250 meters per second. Not great, not terrible. I've seen better, I've seen worse. And they are 2nd generation, so you aim them with the mouse, not with the keyboard. Then the firing range at max is 3.75 kilometers. That's still decent. And then the penetration is 630 millimeters, because it's a heat warhead. So it has a neutral normalization, So not positive, not negative. That means at 60 degrees we have half the penetration at 315 millimeters. That is still very good. And yes, you could make a point that normally the post-penetration damage effect of those heat missiles is not the greatest, very punctual, but here in this case it is absolutely brutal, and I have not made so many easy one-shots. It's not like an APAG shell, but very often it just one-shots a tank. Sometimes you also have things like these, where then it's a bad example. Yes, that can happen as well, but if you look at the top right corner throughout the entirety of the battle, this is what usually doesn't happen. Usually it's a one-shot, and this makes the tank pretty strong. Now, the next thing is, due to the fact that you have no 20mm or a heavy machine gun, you cannot really mow down trees or bushes or lightly armored fences or wooden obstacles, etc. And so to have two missiles is pretty good, because you then can sacrifice one to clear the way for the other, and so you can fire them in quick succession. And now let's come to the really outstanding part of this tank. So many ATGM vehicles like this have the missile mounted on top of the tank, but this one really takes it to the next level because it is mounted so high, so roughly 1.5 meters higher. And that means that you can really look over ridgelines, and many tanks can do this. But this tank, and this is what makes it all really great in conjunction, has gun depression of 30 degrees, not 13, 30. That is 3 times my gold standard of 10 degrees of gun depression, where I think then that a tank of any designation is really good. Everything above this is usually excessive, and with this having 33 times the gun depression, you just simply can go to places where no tank has beaten up another tank before. And I think that this is what really makes the tank having a thought or two about getting. Now, again, this is not a premium tank. It doesn't give you excessive income. It's very weak against aircraft, SPA, etc. at close quarters. And also, when you are at full speed, you cannot fire the missiles. You only can fire the missiles when you are out of travel mode, so below 10 kilometers per hour. But have a look at this. So I am on this ridgeline, and I can easily aim at this guy, and he doesn't even look my direction directly, because he doesn't expect anybody to be here. He doesn't expect anybody to be able to pull off those shots. And working ridgelines like this is the absolutely outstanding, phenomenal plus point of this tank. And it makes it frankly overpowered, because you can do this with impunity. As long as you are not flanked, you just can harvest enemy tanks all day long, or up until your missiles run out. Remember, you have only 10. But this is so cool. This is so goddamn cool. And another example is this. Look, this guy has no idea I am here, and so one ATGM is all that it takes, and the great penetration and post-penetration damage effect, as well as the ability of the good controllability of those missiles. And oh, good night, sweetheart. That is just awesome to smack down helicopters, to swat them out of the air. Another good example, another one shot. That was the same battle, by the way, just a minute later. And do I hear another flap? A flap decopter? Yes, there it is. So we swing the turret around, and with a good turret traverse, this is also possible. And good night, sunshine. Oh, beautiful. There is nothing better than swatting enemy helicopters out of the sky. Now, I have talked about this, that this tank lacks any sort of heavy machine gun, etc. But now I want to demonstrate how you can play this tank. So we just deploy the thing, and we go into the battle mode. So this is just tipping E1s. We sacrifice the first missile, the second one goes in, and he is tracked. The turret ring is fixed in place, and the turret crew is mostly dead. So we can reload with impunity. The hull is actually below the ridgeline, and if you hit the missile launcher, well, it doesn't really result in an MRAC detonation, and so the third missile is absolutely no problem to kill this tank. But again, that's roughly a third of the overall ammunition. And the next bad thing is, if you will, that you cannot reload a single missile. So you have to well, sacrifice the first one. And one funny thing was, I didn't see this tank and he didn't see me either, but I fired first, and so we got another kill. So you have to fire off the next missile before you can reload two, and that is wasting 10% of your overall ammunition capacity. For example, if you expect multiple targets to appear around the corner, or if you just are in a defensive locations and multiple enemies want to storm your position, because the reload just takes a while. And so this is where I fire off this missile just to reload here in time to reload too. And also the reload time is not the worst that I've seen, probably because it works without being bugged. Now, the next thing that I really want to repeat again is the great post-penetration damage effect, as well as the great ridgeline working capacity. Again, 30 degrees of gun depression, that is just absolutely amazing. And sometimes this little top, by the way, which you cannot camouflage with a bush, is just such a tiny target. It just looks so natural in the environment. Yes, it does. And so this ZSU-57-2 didn't expect me to be able to shoot him. And again, the great splash radius, the great post-penetration damage effect just ignites the ammunition, and we get another great kill. I'm not quite sure if this great post-penetration damage effect that I just experienced when I played this tank is a general buff to ATGMs, if it is just an ITO thing, or if it is very specifically only to this tank, and if it gets nerfed later, yes or no, I don't know. Maybe the statistics will change wildly again, because Gaijin sometimes behaves like we are in beta, but this thing just, it can perform really well. You have to put it into the right position, and then it pays off greatly. Talking about paying off, let's have a quick look at the post-battle results. For 4 kills and 1 cap, we got 25,000 civil lines, which is pure profit since we have no repair costs, and also the missiles are for free, as well as 5.2k modification research points or vehicle research points, which is great for a non-premium vehicle with a premium account with no boosters applied. And that's it for me today, so thanks for watching, thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a like if you did, subscribe if you want to see more. We'll see each other on the waves, in the skies, and on the battlefields of War Thunder.